So
It is, yeah.
when did you move back to Ireland? Or
I
how did
moved
you
back.
decide to do that?
Oh, yeah. So I traveled for a bit. So yeah, like I went to New Zealand for about a month because I just realized like I just wanted to be away from it all, but also like I mentioned, earlier, I'd raised a bit of money for cancer research
Hmm.
for the cancer that Louis had, and the only center, because it was very rare cancer, the only center kind of studying that was back in the days was based in New Zealand.
Mm.
So, and I'd been chatting with the head researcher there, so I wanted to give him the funds and meet him. So I just traveled there by myself, and I also realized that that was actually on the map, the exact where the research center is, the furthest place I could have gone from home, like a complete opposite side of the world. So I think but it felt, well, there were
What?
some days where it was really hard, but it felt just good to just, so I basically went
Yeah.
from my bed to like New Zealand or like to the other side of the world. And it felt really, um, yeah, good to just be away in a place where no one knows me. I know I was kind of like running from it,
Yeah.
but it did feel um, quite a bit better. Louis also always wanted to see New Zealand, so it felt like in a way like I was.
Oh, that's awesome. And empowering too, right? You feel like, hey, I am doing this. I'm going
Yeah,
all the way around the world by
yeah.
myself.
I was like, I'm out. I'm done with this.
Yes.
And in my head, sometime when I was there, I was like, I'll just stay here and like, have a bunch of sheep or whatever they do there. I'll just move here now. But I didn't. I came back and then I
Yeah.
traveled a bit more, and then I went back to um, Google in December, which was it was actually really hard because I thought I would never ever come back to Ireland, um, because we left it so abruptly, the two of us,
Yeah.
and I this was like our home, so it felt a bit weird coming back alone, and I wasn't sure I was gonna stay, but then, yeah, I had a really nice group of friends here, and it felt nice to be around people, other than my family again. Like I love my family, but I created kind of a life here, so it felt good to be around them in a way.
Yeah.
So I decided to stay and kind of see day by day, week by week how it went, and still allowed myself to, leave whenever I wanted to. Like if I like in life, I've realized you can just, if you're really unhappy doing something or being somewhere, you just leave. Like, so I knew that that was an option. But at the same time, I felt okay most of the time, so I
Yeah.
decided I'd stay here and see
I
how it
think,
goes.
yeah, like doing something like you did, moving back to Ireland, um, is hard, but you had those connections there already. You had some friends, but still it was far enough away from, family and stuff where you could have that time to yourself. It was a good mix, right? Even though it was,
I think it was a good mix, yeah. And I would travel almost every weekend. Like I did, I don't know how many countries I did in the first year. I was just traveling so much because I just wanted to get away and, see and do as much as I could in a short period of time. I guess I realized that life is really short, so I should just do it all. So I was just constant. And that didn't give me a lot of time though to actually think about my grief. So some days that really like bit me in the ass, I guess.
yeah,
But some days it was just quite nice.
yeah.
So yeah, this was kind of like my home base while I traveled, I guess, and while
Yeah.
I just tried to process it all.
I mean, I did the same thing with the
Okay.
traveling. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's actually just there's been research on it how coping with grief and loss that travel is a really good way to heal.
Oh.
And yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And it's a healthy way of coping with what you're doing. I mean, travel, you're learning, you're seeing other things, you're opening up your world, and it's like it's just a good thing to turn to instead of these other unhealthy things that we tend to turn to cope. So
I
did you
agree.